A severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for parts of southern Wisconsin as alert day conditions continue. In just a moment, we'll track a line of developing storms using Radar 3000.
Plus, as the American Family Championship gets underway in Madison this week, how the impact of the event goes far beyond the golf course.
Plus, as Madison tries to put together a city budget, we'll see how the president's budget proposal is impacting the city's finances.
You're watching News 3 now at 5. Thunderstorms have been popping up all afternoon. Strong winds could add to the mix. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington joins us inside on this alert day. And Alex, we're still talking about a risk at least of some strong storms tonight?
We certainly are. In fact, a severe thunderstorm watch has just been issued by the Storm Prediction Center for parts of southern Wisconsin, as alert day conditions will continue through at least the mid-evening hours, perhaps the late evening hours in some parts of the area. Here's that severe thunderstorm watch that has recently been issued by the National Weather Service. We'll move our graphics. There we go. This is severe thunderstorm watch for Iowa, Dane, Lafayette, Greene, and Rock counties until 11 o'clock tonight, as a line of thunderstorms is developing as we speak right now, moving relatively rapidly off to the east at about 40 miles per hour. That's going to put communities Spring Green 5:02 p.m., Dodgeville at 5:06 p.m., Baraboo at 5:14 p.m., and over towards the Fairfield area as we approach 5:15. Gusty winds, as Eric was just mentioning, are the main threats from these storms. Nothing severe out there right now. Wouldn't be surprised to see 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts with this line, but these showers and storms are moving into an area that's recovered just a bit from earlier storms, meaning there's a little bit of more heat, a little bit more humidity out there to allow these storms to potentially reach severe limits as we move through the evening. Future Track, I think, is doing a good job showing those showers and thunderstorms, some strong, moving through the area through at least 9-10 o'clock tonight. That's when that severe weather threat will end. Coming up in Maine Weather, we'll track how much beneficial water, at least, we're going to get out of these storms, and also track that wildfire smoke, unfortunately, building back in.
All right, thank you, Alex. And speaking of, here's a look at our forecast for air quality in Wisconsin tomorrow. As Alex was saying, the rains are expected to bring down smoke levels from those Canadian wildfires, but much of our area is expected to be in the unhealthy category for sensitive groups. We spoke with the Department of Natural Resources outreach coordinator who had information on how to protect yourself indoors and out.
N95 masks can work. Those can filter out some of that smoke particles. Cloth masks, those won't really do too much. It has to be like an N95 mask, something like that will help some. If you have central air conditioning, you might want to run that on recirculate so you're having that fresh air stays in the house.
And he says it's important to pay attention to your body, closely monitor coughing, shortness of breath, or fatigue, and go inside if possible.
For everything you need to know about this alert day and the changing air quality conditions, you can find that on our First Warn Weather app. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Simply search WISC Weather.
In just a few days, the American Family Championship returns for 2025, and it's at a new location this year.
That's right. We find our Kyle Pozorski out live now at TPC, Wisconsin, with how the event makes a charitable impact every year. Kyle?
Yes, good evening, guys, out here on hole 18. This event, for the first time ever, departing from its longtime home of University Ridge out near Verona, but the same goal, of course, of having fun out on the links and making an impact in our communities. Over the last 9 years of holding this event, player host Steve Stricker, along with American Family Insurance, have raised close to $20 million. Now, this is coming through donations, giving back to the place that we all call home. I spoke with the tournament director earlier today about the move here to TPC and that charitable impact.
One element doesn't change with this event, and it's the charitable impact. That's the core mission of this event, and that's what's great about all PGA Tour Champions related events, that all proceeds go back to charity, and that'll continue here with half the proceeds going to American Family Children's Hospital and the other half going to hundreds of organizations throughout the greater Madison and greater Wisconsin areas.
And of course, like I mentioned in our 4:30 newscast, the grounds here at TPC Wisconsin are looking absolutely fantastic. Tomorrow begins the Pro-Am tournament, but the big event starts on Friday. It'll run through Sunday. For now, reporting out here live at TPC Wisconsin, Kyle Pozorski, News 3 Now.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Officials in Minnesota confirm 2 new cases of measles in the Twin Cities metro area. Those cases are unrelated, but officials say that a child was infectious at Mall of America on May 24th. Another man lived near the Wisconsin state line, but neither patient has traveled to Wisconsin. Currently, Wisconsin has the second lowest measles vaccination rate in the nation, but no confirmed cases. Symptoms include high fever, dry cough, runny nose, and red, watery eyes. If you notice these symptoms, call a healthcare provider to avoid further exposure to others.
This is the time of the year when local governments decide how to use your taxpayer dollars. But this budget season, they're watching what the federal government does closely.
Armand Rahman shows us how the president's proposed budget is complicating the process for the city of Madison.
Municipalities like the city of Madison say they're trying to prepare their budgets in the face of a bit of uncertainty as President Trump's big, beautiful spending and tax bill moves through the federal legislature. City Finance Director David Schmidtke says federal dollars pay for about 175 permanent full-time employees, primarily in Metro Transit, the Community Development Authority, and Public Health Madison-Dane County. But the city budget by itself won't be too impacted by the president's budget package.
On both operating and capital, federal funding is a relatively small share of it for the city, roughly 6 to 7%.
City services might see an increased demand due to some changes.
The city has kind of limited means to do so because we have limits on how much revenue we can raise and so on under state law.
The changes that stood out to Schmidtke:
1 of 5 Wisconsin residents receive Medicaid benefits.
Adjustments to Medicaid, including new work requirements for recipients without children and disabilities.
We kind of take that down to the Madison level. 5,000 to 7,000 people in Madison that could lose benefits or have their benefits affected.
Schmidtke says he's thankful the bill right now does keep an exemption for people who purchase city bonds for street repair, buying garbage trucks and snowplows, and more.
If that exemption is, let's say the Senate takes that exemption away, it's estimated that could add as much as $6,500 per household through every household in the country of additional costs.
He says projects like the rebuilding of Fire Station 6 on the city's south side likely won't be affected. Reporting in Madison, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you. The city is giving residents 5 chances to weigh in on the budget process this month. An engagement session for the Public Works Division is set for tomorrow night at 6. It'll be at the Central Public Library.
Madison police say they're investigating a stabbing that happened after a fight on State Street. The 23-year-old victim says it happened around 1 Saturday morning. She says she was stabbed when a large fight broke out. Madison police are asking anyone with information to call Madison Area Crime Stoppers 608-266-6014.
Wisconsin DMV warning of a new texting scam that's hitting phones across the state. Scammers will send texts claiming to be from the DMV, asking you to click on fraudulent links or turn over your personal information. Texts warn of a final notice or an unpaid traffic violation. Always be suspicious of texts demanding money and never share any information with anyone who sends an unsolicited text or email.
Wisconsin's first large-scale energy storage project is now serving consumers. It's called the Paris Solar Battery Park in Kenosha County and provides sunshine after sunset for Madison Gas and Electric customers. The facility is made up of batteries capable of powering more than 130,000 homes for 4 hours. On sunny days, batteries store excess power and then they release it at night. MG&E owns 11 megawatts of storage at the Paris facility and 20 megawatts of solar capability.
Last week, the Madison Clerk's Office issued ballots for this month's special election. Now it's time to send them back in. Tuesday, the 17th election will fill the District 1 seat for Dane County's Board of Supervisors. If you plan on returning your ballot through the mail, city officials say you should do that today. Absentee ballots received after Election Day cannot be counted.
At the state capitol, a group of Wisconsin lawmakers is introducing legislation in an effort to curb gun violence in Wisconsin.
And our political reporter Will Keneally has more.
There is no space in our society untouched by violence. From our schools to our parks to our workplaces to our worship facilities.
That's why Democratic lawmakers are introducing a package of safe summer bills. The gun control legislation includes a red flag law, which allows a judge to temporarily remove firearms from a person in emergencies, and a longer waiting period to purchase guns.
Yes, we have raised these issues before, but we are not going to stop fighting for for common sense gun safety measures in our communities until they are passed into law and they are keeping Wisconsinites safe.
This renewed push comes after recent notable shootings in Wisconsin. Last December's shooting at Abundant Life Christian School and another last month at UW-Platteville. Republicans in the state legislature have introduced some gun control legislation this session, a bill to make gun safes tax-free. That bill made it out of an assembly committee, but has been held up getting to the full chamber. Reporting in Madison, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Will. Just ahead, Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington is back. He's mapping out our rain chances as we move through the rest of the evening hours.
And the alleged scheme by a man on trial in Milwaukee, how he tried to frame a witness against him by faking a threat against the White House. And a check of the markets in Tuesday trading. Dow Jones jumping more than 214 points. And NASDAQ climbs 156. S&P 500 adds 34. And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
In Milwaukee, a man jailed for robbery is now accused of a scheme to silence a witness. Investigators say Joshua Scott wrote threatening letters claiming to target the president just to frame Ramon Morales Reyes, the man who was set to testify against him. Caught on jail calls discussing his plan, Scott admitted he wrote the threats to spark a federal investigation and stop the trial. Morales Reyes was wrongfully arrested and now faces deportation despite being the original victim.
Work starts on Friday for a resurfacing project in southern Grant County. DOT officials say State Highway 80 will be resurfaced from Highway 11 up to the Village of Hazel Green village limits, along with Highway 11 within the village limits. Governor Tony Evers approved a contract for this work worth nearly $4.2 million. Both highways will be open to traffic during construction, but if you use this road regularly, you may want to leave early because there will only be one lane at times. Oh, you're taking a live look at St. Joe, Michigan, right along the west coast of Michigan. A landmark study from the University of Michigan finds the Great Lakes have entered a new climate era. In the past, scientists could use historical patterns to predict future conditions, but researchers say that is no longer the case. Lake Superior's heat waves are tripling, while Lake Erie's cold snaps are also nearly tripling, and Lake Michigan is feeling the impact as well with stronger heat waves and less winter ice.
Very interesting. Alert day storms may not be over yet. We're watching the radar tonight, and Alex Harrington is here with the latest on the timing.
Yeah, Susan, Eric, southern Wisconsin. Timing is right now through approximately 11 o'clock this evening with alert day conditions still a possibility. Damaging winds are the main threat. We've had just enough recovery, meaning just enough heat and humidity have built in after earlier thunderstorms. That's going to bring that potential for severe thunderstorm activity to southern Wisconsin as we move through the rest of the evening hours, especially for Madison, Dodgeville, down towards Darlington, Monroe, over towards Janesville, as we watch a line of thunderstorms currently developing over southwest Wisconsin, stretching from Wisconsin Dells down to Dodgeville, down to Platteville, Prairie du Sac at about 5:20, Lake Wisconsin about 5:24, Mount Horeb at about 5:30. You can expect this area of showers with embedded thunderstorms. No severe weather yet out of this line. Hopefully that will be the case and stay that way this evening, but don't let your guard down. There could be winds gusting to 30 to 40 miles per hour in the leading edge of that line of showers and thunderstorms. Future track showing more thunderstorms building into the area rapidly as we head towards 8, 9 o'clock. After we get past 8, 9, 10 o'clock, that threat for severe weather goes down significantly. And then we're looking at more of what I call the garden variety shower and thunderstorm activity, where you have showers and a rumble or two of thunder. But that won't be until later in the evening, going into the overnight hours. Any severe weather threats this evening, the highest threat is for damaging winds, similar to what we were experiencing earlier today while Jacob was covering severe thunderstorm warnings for the Janesville area and over towards Evansville and into Walworth County earlier. We can't rule out some hail. We can't rule out a very brief spin-up tornado, but those threats are very low. Marginal risk of severe weather across southern Wisconsin. This is a level 1 out of 5. What does that mean? That means isolated severe thunderstorms are expected over the area tonight as that cold front continues to move through. This is the good stuff here, in my opinion, and that is the beneficial rainfall. Many areas are already picking up decent amounts of rain today. Some of our friends in Janesville, moderate drought conditions. They got 7/10 of an inch. You may pick up another inch in Janesville overnight tonight. Again, we're keeping a close eye on these showers and thunderstorms. Here's that ominous sky right now in Platteville as that line of thunderstorms moves into the area. Platteville right now, that is just on your doorsteps. It looks like there might even be a few raindrops on our First One weather cam, our Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam. We'll be using our Sky Cams this evening to keep track of our weather conditions as well. Through 11 o'clock tonight, that's that period, that window of opportunity for stronger thunderstorms with damaging winds being the main threat and some heavy rainfall as part of our alert day bottom line. Then we turn our attention to the air quality that we were talking about earlier. The good news is, as we were mentioning, for at least tonight, those raindrops, those heavy raindrops, helps to bring that smoke down to the ground, smashing it into the surface. But unfortunately, it's going to build in as we go on into Wednesday. During the 6 o'clock newscast, I'll show you that wildfire smoke plume building back in on Wednesday and how long it's going to stick around. But right now, you can be rest assured, unfortunately, not rest assured, but you can be assured, I should say, that air quality conditions are going to be in the unhealthy category on Wednesday. So if you are susceptible to smoky conditions, it's advisable, as we were mentioning before, to stay indoors. Flip the AC switch on as well and just stay indoors on Wednesday. Pleasant stretch of weather once we get past our alert day night tonight in the hazy conditions on Wednesday. Temperatures staying in the 70s with the next best chance of rain Sunday going on into Monday. But we will be keeping a close eye on this line of thunderstorms as it continues to evolve this evening.
All right, Alex, thank you. Now a live look at the Duck Pond. This is where the True North Music and Food Festival is coming to Madison at the end of the summer in September. The fest features performances from Pokey Lafarge, the Peoples Brothers Band, and many others. And there are 12 tents featuring food from local restaurants like Beef Butter Barbecue, Heritage Tavern, Ahan, and many more. Tickets go on sale Friday morning at 10 a.m. and $2 from every ticket sold will go to support domestic abuse intervention services and the Dane County Food Collective. Hard to believe the 4th of July is just about a month away, with tariffs reaching 150% in April. How will that affect the cost of fireworks? That's ahead on News 3 Now at 5.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Well, we are just about a month away from celebrating our nation's birthday, and the cost for a key element to all that fun is now up in the air.
Jeff Wagner explains how the trade war with China this year might influence fireworks sales for the holiday.
A rainbow of excitement adorns the shelves at Fireworks Nation.
Every year, the product gets better and better and safer.
But will it cost more? That's the question owner Anders Nelson admits customers keep asking this year.
How have tariffs impacted the prices here?
Well, we're not raising our prices at Fireworks Nation. Now, some of our shipments were affected by the tariffs. We definitely saw our costs are up this year. Shipping costs are up, but we're holding our prices.
While their prices hold steady, other retailers might raise them.
And that will actually depend on whether the retailer got their product here prior to the tariff hikes. And if not, how much can they absorb versus what do they need to pass on to the consumer?
Julie Heckman is the executive director of the American Pyrotechnics Association. She says consumer fireworks, the kind people buy at the store, already had a 5.3% tariff. It jumped to 20% in early March. By April 9th, President Trump's trade war with China pushed it to 145%.
Which is huge, very, very huge. And it hit at the absolute worst time when all of our products are trying to get here from China for the 4th of July.
Nelson and other retailers typically order their fireworks from China a year in advance. They're produced in the fall and winter, then shipped in the months leading up to the next 4th of July.
Now, in our case, we had ships on the water, and so, of course, we had to take them in. So we did have some tariff charges. We had our shipping charges. But all of the ones that had not been shipped, we put a halt and just ended the orders.
And then when the tariffs were reduced a couple weeks ago to 30%, many of the importers said, go ahead, put my containers on the water. But the issue will be, will they get here in time for the 4th of July?
Most of Nelson's product arrived before the new tariffs hit, so he's not worried about supply this year. But there is industry-wide concern regarding 2026, when the U.S. celebrates its 250th birthday.
So the demand is going to be very high, plus it falls on a Saturday and a weekend.
Fireworks production in China came to a halt during the height of the tariffs, only resuming once they were paused, creating a potential supply chain problem lingering into next year, leaving both to have this advice for those looking to celebrate this summer.
I would encourage you to shop early.
Shop carefully.
And most importantly,
just make certain that you're safe.
In North Hudson, Wisconsin, Jeff Wagner, WCCO News.
We spoke with Jessica Kastner, Pyrotechnics, fireworks wholesaler and imports here in Madison. She says that some of the early April tariffs would be baked into prices for items shipped then, but says a lot of stock was bought earlier in the year and would likely not be as affected. Jessica added that for the best chance of getting fireworks, shop early as supplies may become a little more limited the closer you get to the 4th. Chicago area police are investigating a possible freight train burglary. Officers were at the scene in suburban Bellwood after reports of a burglary in progress early this morning. Local and transit police are trying to figure out how someone got into the shipping containers here. Authorities found boxes of merchandise were scattered across the tracks. Rail officials say the investigation was expected to affect operations and schedules today with intermittent stoppages.
We'll get a final check on the weather with Alex when we come back.
Scam targeting teenagers, it's becoming more common. How it works and what parents need to know.
Also, Eye on America looks at a Texas neighborhood worried about increased threats from nearby power plants and refineries. Some warn the health of the many families are at stake. What about your town? That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And then coming up at 6, the state legislature is looking at a bill that would push back against fake service dogs. We'll tell you what's in the legislation and how likely it is to pass.
After more than 2 months on the run, Louie the otter has chosen to return to the wild. The new Zoo Adventure Park in Swamico believes Louie, who escaped during a March snowstorm, is somewhere thriving on his own and has decided not to come back. While his companion Ophelia was safely recaptured in early April, Louie hasn't been spotted in the same area, and zoo officials say Louie was born in the wild and does have the skills to survive. They're now working to find a new companion for Ophelia. He was just tired of Ophelia. She was giving him the business. Let's go to Al. We're watching a line of storms moving across right now, right?
Yeah, snow to storms. I just can't believe looking at that. But we are watching this line of thunderstorms that has formed across southwest Wisconsin. There we see on radar 3,000 communities that are in the path of this. Portage just shortly after 5:30. Cross Plains 5:42 p.m. over towards Waunakee, and then getting closer to Madison as we get a little bit closer to the 6 o'clock hour. No severe thunderstorm warnings yet, but our Queen Bee Radio Skycam, as we round out our newscast here, we'll give you a glimpse of what it looks like in Platteville. Wouldn't be surprised to be looking at some winds between 30 to 40 miles per hour and maybe some small hail with this line of storms. Hopefully it all stays below severe limits. The severe weather threat should end by the time we get a little bit closer to 11 o'clock tonight. And then we turn our attention, of course, to the air quality conditions that will be poor tomorrow.
Yeah, we're hoping that rain could kind of clear that out.
For a bit.
But not enough, huh?
Not enough. Unfortunately, it's going to come back in tomorrow.
All right, Alex, thank you. And thanks for watching News 3 Now at 5. Coming up now, the CBS Evening News. And we'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6.
You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. See you at 6.